did the city council look into it before they agreed to it? And I would like to know, by a show of hands, who voted for this? And I would also like to know who was on the community action board with Brother June Richardson to sign their name to it. Because my concern is, if you're not your brother's keeper, who are you keeping? That's my concern. That's the way you need to look at things. We voted for you guys. Y'all supposed to be the gatekeepers. Y'all supposed to have our backs. You're not supposed to have y'all's backs. And for y'all to bring something to this city that's already on hard times, for poor people to have hope, that's what the churches was for. The church was supposed to give them hope for the Brother Richardson. And that's the way that's supposed to win. You weren't supposed to go having these secret committees and people signing papers to agree to let something in Martinsville, Virginia, on the west side of Martinsville, faster than to get grocery stores. People's bad acts. Well, I hope somebody stands up for morality. That's all I see. I'll do that.
Madam Mayor, members of City Council, one of the reasons the chairman of the Planning Commission, Tim Martin, is here, and one of the reasons I'm here as a member of the Planning Commission. First of all, you don't know what you're talking about. And no, I haven't signed anything, Leonard. And I'm not going to get into a fuss and dash with you here because you're being disrespectful. If I sign, I would say I signed. I'm man enough to say whatever I've done. I'm man enough to say. But you don't know what you're talking about. This came before the Planning Commission. We questioned them. The law allowed them to come in, not the Martinsville Planning Commission. That's the first thing Leonard Jones and everybody else needs to know. The law. That's why we put so many stipulations on it. We were trying to see what we could do to regulate it, if not downright eliminate it. And I said at the last City Council meeting that at the meeting that we voted, and by the way, you didn't show up for the public hearing for the Planning Commission. If you're going to run your mouth, you need to show up when it's time to show up, not show up when you can get a crowd. But we were told that we could not ban them, so what we were trying to do was come up with a recommendation to the City Council as to how we could best regulate them. I said last time that we didn't have all of the information that we would have preferred to have when we voted. Tim Martin just said the same thing. We later found out about the crime rate in North Carolina. When we first questioned that, we didn't get that information. When the information came down from the Attorney General, that was after we had voted to send it to you. All right, so we didn't sign any paper. But I did vote to send it to the City Council because you make the laws, the statutes. We don't, as a Planning Commission, we can only recommend.
Reverend Richardson, to clarify one thing, the newspaper said that you did not oppose it, that you just wanted to regulate it. Is that correct, September 17th?
The law would not allow us to oppose it, sir.
I just asked you, did you say that you
The
wanted to
law
oppose it?
would not allow us.
To regulate it. He didn't answer that.
I just want to say once again, I'm Tim Martin, Chairman of City Planning.
We have a little clarity here. I know that you can get a newspaper to print a retraction because I've done it. And one newspaper on September the 17th and then a ABC 13 News both stated that the Planning Committee did not oppose, that no opposition was expressed during the public hearing, but rather just a determination to regulate. And I'm just addressing it to Mr. Richardson. Do we need to correct ABC 13 and Martinsville News, or was it correct that they did oppose it?
Johnny, we made it very clear that the information was not made.
I have addressed my remarks to City Council tonight, and that's all I'm addressing tonight.
Okay, so I'm trying to decide whether to write to the Martinsville Bulletin and 13 News.
You're right.
Okay, they're on record saying that you didn't oppose it.
I don't care what you say. Sit down.
Mr. Smith, and then
Reverend Jones. Reverend Jones.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I want you to understand one thing.
Go right here, sir.
I have not been in any room anywhere and signed any agreement to allow any business.
But did you vote to have it?
We have not. Perhaps it would help Mr. Jones if he had an understanding of how this came about from his story.
This council has never voted to allow the internet gaming parlors in this city. The way that this entire situation has come about is they were legal they were illegal in the Commonwealth of Virginia.
We had other information that we could have voted against it and not brought it to the city council. If we could have stopped it, we would have stopped it.
Well, the point being that, like you said, city planning, it was done rapidly. The laws was not giving Wayne's office any ammunition to govern where it was going, being close to schools, churches, or whatever. So we, in an attempt to give his office arm muscle, so to speak, hastily went into it, and they did the best they could. But we did this over like a month period, 2 meetings in a row, and not everything was brought to our attention. After we sent it to you, a lot more was brought to our attention. That's why he came 2 weeks ago, which I should have, and that's why I'm here tonight.
Well, I just want to clarify something. It's not an either or with the moratorium. Can you explain that a little bit more? What's your position?
My personal opinion is go with the moratorium based on what the state says. And that, pass what you have. We have no choice but to pass what we've recommended or something up there for it. But I want it to be made where...
I think what you're saying is you would like us to ban
Absolutely.
that's what as a right anyone to be able to operate electronic gaming.
Yes.
Until the moratorium's made by the state.
Well, regardless. It's banned by right, it's banned.
I agree,
right?
but I still think we should base it on what the state does.
I counted on the way up here. I went to all 5 of them that I knew that was open on the west side of Martinsville. I counted 82 cars. I went out of that 82, where are those people's children at? Out of that 82, how many of them are spending disposable income? Or how many of them are spending their rent money? How many of them are spending, trying to get the light bill paid so the lights won't get cut off tomorrow? They got $10 instead of trying to go out and find another way. I might go down here to this internet cafe and make a little money. So that, and why is it called internet cafe when we got one?
My name is Marty Rayner. You've heard from the Colonial Downs, and you've heard from those that are pretty much opposed of the internet sweepstakes. Well, I am one of those owners, so you get to hear from me. And I'm also one of those owners that has them in North Carolina. I'm also the first one to open one up in Martinsville. So, as Ruth does know who I am, and I am the one who opened one first one on the west side. So, don't come after me, please. So there's probably a lot of questions a lot of people can probably ask me as to dealing with the internet. As to crime in where my building is, there's not much crime. I have a guard that sits in my place all the time. So I have very little crime in my building. In fact, I think I've reduced the crime over my place by having a security guard in my place over there.
The reference that you made in the newspaper, the Commonwealth of Virginia has not granted taxing authority that some localities in North Carolina have, where there is a per machine tax. But we are taxing them for the personal property, and the machines are taxed at our business personal property tax rate, which is the same as business vehicles. In addition to that, the city is also gaining revenue from the utility costs for all these businesses. And so far, we have actually licensed 8 internet cafes. There is a 9th one that met its inspection requirements yesterday, but we have not licensed them.
Well, that brings me to a website. It's the UNC Local Government Law Blog, and just to demonstrate just how, if we can use the word odious, they have become in North Carolina, they make a note about the gross income tax, the gross tax that's put on these entities, and one owner of a sweepstakes assembly, whatever you want to call it, is based in Pilot Mountain, and he's setting one up in Roanoke County, and he assumes that he's going to make several $1 million, and he's actually having to pay estimated tax payments on that already. So we're hearing from the UNC Law Blog that they know that these businesses make that much money and they stand to receive that much tax. And as Mr. Mundy said, we don't have the right to put the per machine, but they were putting as much as $500 per machine in some of their cities. And all of this revenue is available, and yet North Carolina has banned it. That ought to tell us that the revenue is not outweighing the problems that they're having with the gaming institutions. And so that just want to go on record.